Hello everyone. Before we start, let's make quick sound check. Drop a quick message in the chat if you can hear me well. Sound is okay. So great to hear. Let's start then. We have 1 hour booked, but let's try to fit into a little bit shorter time. So let's start. Of course, our today webinar is around about Smart5, but quickly about the company itself. Ruptel is in the business for 17 years, manufacturing GPS tracking devices, headquarters in Lithuania, Vilnius, branches in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and Mexico City as well. Focus areas, of course, we want to be, and actually can say quite are good and best telematics data, excellent quality of hardware, and trusted partnership, because that's important things to be in this business. And today's hero is Smart5 device, which is a new device in our portfolio, quite a new approach for us and for you. So let's see what this device can do. This is today's agenda. We will go through versatility, accessories. We'll check a little bit more into its slim design, check power consumption, check its performance, and what security features it can offer you. Let's start from quick specification. This is LTE Cat 1 device with 2G fallback, so it works mostly everywhere in the world. It has one CAN bus interface, so it means it has CAN high and CAN low, one CAN line. 3 digital inputs, accessories we will review a little bit later. 2 digital outputs, so can control like relays and buzzers and stuff that you would like to control. It has also one wire interface for connecting temperature or driver identification accessories. And of course, it has Bluetooth 5 and can work with wireless accessories. So considering this small body, it's quite many features that are inbuilt and that are somehow different from what used to be a premium features, and now they are compacted into what's called Smart. That's why it's called Smart. And we have, of course, 2 versions by hardware. It's Latin America version and the EMEA version, which works good in Europe, Africa, Middle East, Asia, when it comes to connectivity. CAN interface capabilities, and I think this is the most interesting part for most of you. So this Smart5, so how then it's different from what used to be a premium devices called Pro Lite, HCV Lite, HCV, LCV, Pro 5, and so on. So CAN bus capabilities are really big. It means it can read FMS, J1939, OBD, HCV, LCV, LCV plus OBD, trailers, and custom CAN. That's good. And that gives you a lot of abilities to connect different type of transport that we'll cover just in seconds. But what is the limitation? Of course, little bit of limitation is that it has one CAN line, because some of the connections, let's say 10%, maybe less, considering worldwide vehicles, they require 2 CAN bus connection or requires J1708. But disregard these few cases, which are actually becoming less and less. This device can cover, let's say, 90% of very different transport in heavy vehicles, light commercial vehicles, and so on. So we didn't limit it to be just electric vehicles or just petrol vehicles. So all the vehicles that are supported by premium devices like HTV are supported in Smart5 as well. So that's very good news for everyone who would like to be in CAN bus, but somehow treated this as a premium before. Of course, heavy vehicles. It's perfect suitable for heavy vehicles like trucks, Mercedes, Volvo, Scania, anything you mentioned in the heavy trucks. And for sure, as for other devices, for Smart5 as well, you can get installation instructions that are based in doc.ruptela.lt or com. and you can get quite many parameters. So in the example, we have Mercedes-Benz Actros, newest model so far. And you see on the right side that we can get and fuel level and fuel used, temperatures, mileage, and so on. And of course, you can get an installation instruction or installation manual. Example is in here. So we, of course, define which wires you need to connect, which parts maybe of the dashboard to disassemble. And for that, they are not public instructions themselves. You need to approach your sales manager, but after you approach your sales managers, he or she will give you an access to have these installation instructions for yourself. Light commercial vehicles and vans. For sure, we support with the Smart5 that as well. And the good thing and an example is this Mercedes-Benz Vito Viano, because it has ability to be connected over CAN bus or over OBD. And as the note states in the instruction, to get fuel level, for example, it's not always in the CAN bus, so you need to combine CAN bus and OBD. Good thing, Smart5 can do that, so it means you can get very full spectrum from this Mercedes when connecting to OBD port pins 3 and 11. Trailers. When it comes to trailers, especially maybe it's relevant for users in Europe because this temperature, tire pressure monitoring systems, they became mandatory. And most modern trailers gives this data about pressures in the CAN bus. So with Smart5, you can connect this device in the truck and obtain data about, for example, tire pressures, brake cylinder, axle weights, and so on from the trailer. If trailer gives away that data, so Smart5 can catch that for trailers, so it can really help to comply with the newest regulation. And machinery. Of course, we see this excavator in the picture, but it's not limited to excavators. Maybe we're not currently an expert in machinery CAN bus reading, but we have medicine for that, and that's called a custom CAN feature. So as you see in the bottom of the screen, we support and we know how to support around 1,500 different vehicles and machinery, but adding custom CAN, it adds unlimited, but really it's not a marketing slogan, it's unlimited possibilities to read CAN bus data from any kind of machinery that gives away CAN bus data. And here you see an example how it looks like. So worth mentioning that it's not for the beginners. It's not like you will look at the car or the device will look at the car and define what is fuel level and so on. So you need to do some reverting, but if you know how to do reverting, you can integrate basically any machinery into device like from today, from now, without our help. And good thing that you can either override existing parameters. For example, you have this Mercedes-Benz and it appears that in Manila, it's very similar, but it doesn't give you, I don't know, some RPM data for some reason, because it's different ECU, because it's adapted for that market, and it's somehow different from one that we maybe reverted in Germany. So you can use most of the program from us and override only one parameter of fuel level or distance, or to create your additional custom CAN parameter for the data that you would like to extract from that specific project, that specific vehicle that you have. And abilities to define these parameters are fully CAN bus like capable. So you can see you write message ID, start bit, length bit, little endian, and so on. We will not go into details because this training, it really takes time, but if you would like to register your interest in CAN bus custom CAN, you can register in the link that my colleague just posted in the chat. And we will try to make as much trainings for you as possible for you to be able to use that feature. Because as I mentioned, device is already ready for the feature, but it's same like giving maybe code editor and saying that it's you can it learns or trains you how to program. So it does not, but it gives you right away abilities if you know how to do it to use the feature. So use the link in the chat to register your interest, especially in custom CAN if you have the interest into it. Shortly review wired accessories that can be used with Smart5. Of course, EasyCAN, it's quite a popular accessory, allows not to cut any wires when reading CAN bus. So very nice accessory. It can be used with Smart5. Driver identification, no problem about that. One wire RFID reader or iButton reader that you can either purchase from us, either purchase from somewhere directly. If you have better conditions, no problem. They can be used right away. Wire temperature sensors, one wire temperature sensors, up to 4 sensors as in other devices. They can be connected to Smart5. Panic button, if you have a need for that, so digital inputs for sure can be used for panic button. Same as for door sensor, wire door sensor for some opening, closing if you need to control that. And buzzer and ignition blocking relay if you want to remotely immobilize the vehicle. Again, scenario is very similar or the same as in other Ruptela devices, so remote immobilization. And buzzer is mostly used for driver identification if you want to force driver to identify. Wireless sensors. So these are the sensors that are currently already integrated. So again, you can use them right away. And starting with temperature monitoring, we have T-Zone, Ella, and MyNew. Ella, they are French and the longest lasting battery. Actually, longest lasting, it means it's up to 18 years of battery life of remote temperature sensor. So I think it's great for those who want to save a little bit time of installation. Up to 5 sensors can be connected. So imagine like taking the wires through a long truck and replacing that with simple wireless sensors. So it's really great use. When it comes to fuel monitoring, we have Technoton and Epsilon sensors integrated, as well as track fuel cap, which is also wireless and allows to know you if the tank was opened or not. So of course, this is to prevent some illegal fuel siphoning by some unfair drivers. Exoload sensors. We have GNOME sensor supported. It's for both use cases. One is for angle difference in the suspension. Another is for air suspension system pressure monitoring. So both these sensors can be used wirelessly. Both they work at least 5 years from the battery. So it's quite sufficient and good product. Motion and door sensors. Motion sensor is maybe mostly used for tracking some assets, like maybe to put in the pallet and see if the cargo is going together with you or was left in some distribution sensor. And door sensor for sure is good to have, especially when it's wireless. And a good thing again about the battery life with Ella sensors, they last 15, 17 years per battery life. So imagine like you install it and basically you forget. Driver identification, my new D15N. It's a good beacon. It doesn't last that long as Ella ones, but for sure it's much more compact. It fits into pocket. It looks nice. Battery life is around 8 months if the advertising is set to once per second. And it also has button for emergency cases if you drive into some, or your customers drive into some dangerous areas. And the last one is wireless digital input sensor. And it's even better in battery life because it can last up to 20 years. So imagine like having, again, at the back of the trailer, at the back of the long truck, this wireless sensor and attaching something that you need to attach, that you need to monitor, and again, forgetting it for 20 years. So great sensors, they can be used right away with Smart5. Compact design. I think one of the, again, good things about this device that is 14 millimeters thick. It's very thin device actually. Yeah, better say not thick but thin. You see, it's like height of a credit card, only 14 millimeters. So I think any installation in any kind of small car, medium car, or car that is packed with accessories is doable with Smart5 because of its slimness. You can see comparison with our other products. So not saying that the other products are bad somehow, but the Smart5 really is distinguished by its size. What's important, like you have CAN bus data, you connected all the wireless sensors, wired sensors, you connected easy CAN, so it's great. But one of the typical concerns are about battery life when it comes to the car or motorbike that is not used that much. And especially for motorbikes or smaller cars that doesn't have big battery, if you don't use it for some weeks, and it has some thirsty device connected to the battery, you come to the car after vacation and you cannot start it. So that's not the case with Smart5. Power consumption is less than a half milliamp in sleep mode. And really, I connected this device to my own motorbike with really small battery, and coming back to motorbike after 2-3 weeks, battery doesn't show any sign of weakness. So it means it's not even like close to discharging and not being able to start. So power consumption is more than great, less than half milliamp. Swiss-made U-Blocks module, as in most of our devices, we don't compromise quality. Even this being like smart and let's say more cost-effective device, it's still equipped with Swiss-made U-Blocks GPS or GNSS, let's call it, module. It also has jamming detection, GSM jamming detection, and you can even apply some D-out controls on GSM jamming if jamming is detected on the device. It has unplug detection for sure. That's why it has internal backup battery of 180 milliamps. And it has IP54 rated housing. So it's not waterproof, but it's quite tight, not to eat too much dust if you don't install it outside, but you install it in some maybe dusty environment. No problem about that. It really doesn't have big gaps, and it's quite sealed. Reminder of applications where it can be used. Of course, it can be used for logistics by reducing fuel and maintenance cost, because when you have CAN bus data and you have DTC reading, you can really plan and your customers can plan maintenance. Ensuring cargo integrity. As we spoke, wireless, especially wireless sensors of Ella, from Ella, they are really good for knowing if your cargo is still intact or is not intact. Postal service, proof of delivery, for sure. GNSS module is quite accurate to really say if the delivery was in time and in place. Quick installation for sure, because you can squeeze it in tight spaces. Really, again, when installing motorbike, which is not big thing to install this device, it takes no time. I just squeezed it in one of the gaps that are easy to find. Public transport, again, maintenance. And actually maintenance is the thing that we hear more and more. And before, somehow, some years ago, CAN bus was this premium feature, and maintenance based on CAN bus data was heard like as a future, but the future is here, and we need to have CAN bus data, DTC reading from especially things like public transport buses to be able to avoid any downtime and disruptions. That was a quick presentation. I think I stick straight to the point. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free, drop them to chat. If you have more questions, you are interested maybe to purchase product, at least for testing, maybe later for bigger quantities. You see email addresses of our sales teams depending on the region that you are in. So feel free to drop them an email, or if you need some more dedicated training, you need detailed answers to some scenarios that you have in your ongoing projects. So again, our sales and the sales engineers team will be more than happy to help you on that. One more thing for the end, what's coming next? So we have this device already released. It's ready to be ordered. It's ready to be used. And you already know where to use it and how to use it slightly. But we're working on asset tracker that we plan to release around June this year. So if you have any projects related with asset tracking, it means in small device, it's smaller 4G tracker in the market, lasting at least 3 years from the batteries itself. Let us know. It would be interesting to hear before final release, so we can maybe even fine tune it for some cases that you have in your projects. I see some questions about and requests about sending recording of this webinar. So for sure, we will send recording of this webinar if you missed some parts, or maybe all of it, you just been passively listening. Few minutes for questions. I see question from Linda. Thank you for the question. Linda, how does jamming work? Does it pick up interference from actual jamming device, or it's like other devices that detect jamming signal is lost in poor connection areas? It detects. It has inbuilt algorithm into modem that it's not only about the weakness of the signal, but especially about bands of frequencies that should not be around but are around, because jammers are typically working in terms of putting as many frequencies and as big power as possible around, and most of these frequencies should not be anywhere around us normally, and modem is able to detect that and say that is jamming based on that, not just signal loss or some disturbances when you go into underground parking. I see one more question from David. Thank you for the question, David. Is it still possible to use FLS Bluetooth in case there is no CAN bus data, like Metatronics? Yes, absolutely. So most of Bluetooth sensors, they use similar protocol as Technoton or RCS is using. So for sure, you can use Bluetooth sensor. You can use CAN bus data reading to get, for example, mileage, RPMs, fuel consumption. But if you don't have fuel level, or you want it to be more accurate, because CAN bus is, let's say, averagely accurate, so for sure you can use it Bluetooth fuel level sensor together with Smart5 and combine it with CAN bus. One more question from Kevin. Is it in sleep mode, or is it always wake up when it's in the, let's say, power efficient mode? So it needs to be in the sleep mode. But sleep mode is also configurable. So if you want, for example, to have GSM module always wake up, it can be done like that. So you can reach your device anytime, but you can disable peripherals, you can disable GNSS, but you can reach your channel to device. It also has wake up timer. So if you want to know at least, I don't know, once a day or twice a day that device is still alive and it's still in the same place, so you can configure this periodical wake up timer, and you will know that device is running well, it is still in the same place, it's not stolen. So combining these few conditions, I think it's very usable. If we have CAN data from electric cars, yes, we do. And we have state of charge, SOT, we have current mileage, we have charging state. You can go to doc.truptela.lt or .com, click on the vehicles, select vehicle that you would like to see, and you will see parameters that we suggest or we are reading from that car right away. So there are some BYD, some Teslas, some electric Volkswagens, and so on. So feel free to go and explore, because it's many vehicles, so we'll not go into details on that. Does Smart5 support tachograph connection like HCV5? No, it doesn't. So if you would like to get data from tachograph, either tachograph file download, either K-line data about driver statuses, so you still need to use HCV5. That's, let's say, a premium device at some point. Smart5 is for CAN bus reading, where this, let's say, premium features are not mandatory. One more question about no limitations about CAN bus and tachograph reading. So tachograph is not supported anyhow, except tachograph when it comes to car CAN bus data, odometers, fuel levels, consumptions, oil pressure in some case. So it's no limitations, but it's not related anyhow with Tacho. If Tacho is needed, then HCV devices remains the only selection. Does this model read WAPCO EBS data through CAN bus? No, WAPCO is quite special thing. So again, if WAPCO is needed, then other devices can be needed. But as I mentioned, trailers like trailer internal CAN bus, it can be read. But WAPCO as additional, let's say, system, stability system, it's not integral part by default, not integral trailer part. So it cannot be read with Smart5. Is it supported FMS G9039 EV trucks and cars? Yes. And you can go again, check doc.ruptela.lt, click on the vehicles, and you will get full list of supported EV trucks and cars that we are supporting at the moment. Kari is asking, what is the price? So for sure, price depends on quantities, version, and so on. So just drop an email to info@ruptela.com or contact sales that were listed in the few slides before, and you will get your quotation. But it's more cost efficient than our devices like HCV5, because it has some limitations, yes. Can using custom CAN feature help you to get CAN read from all vehicle and truck CAN bus? Yes, exactly. It can, but the thing is that it gives we're giving you a platform to write your own CAN bus program, but the reverting, it needs to be done by you. But once you have a reverting, or maybe you got some reverted files from maybe manufacturer of the truck, you can use it right away in our devices, no problem. Again, question about pricing. So pricing is not scope of this webinar. Just approach your sales and you will get your quotation really fast. About CAN bus data and custom CAN, I think I explained. So it's basically any machinery with J1939 format, and you write your own program and you get parameters right away. Some question about thermograph. So no, thermograph is not in the scope of the Smart5 because it doesn't have RS232. It has CAN high, CAN low, so one CAN line, but no RS232, no RS485. For these peripherals, you need then to go to HCV or Pro devices in our portfolio. Question about difference between LCV and Pro 5 comparing to Smart 5. As I mentioned in the beginning, one limitation is about CAN lines. So some vehicles, they require two CAN bus lines because one line gives away data about some parameters, another can line about other parameters, and they need to be combined in some cases. But disregard these cases because 90%, let's say more than 90% of vehicles are giving away all needed or wanted parameters in one canvas line. So there is no limitation. The supported vehicle list is the same as it is in LCV and Pro 5. Is it suitable for CAN parameters in generators like CAT, DeepC, and others? Of course, if these generators has CAN lines, and most of modern equipment does have CAN lines, so for sure you can use custom CAN and extract these parameters that you would like. That for sure will be different. It will not be mileage in generator, but it will be, I don't know, motor hours of working, some maybe power that is being generated at the moment, and so on. So with the custom CAN, it's a platform for you to define which parameters you want to extract, and it's your then know-how how to make that work. Concrete pump truck CAN support. Of course, again, with the custom CAN, it's your know-how, and we give you a platform to be able to use that reverted parameters right away. Question about canvas reading from Chinese vehicles. Yes, as I mentioned, ones that I remember for sure is BYD, Chinese electric vehicles. We have some models already integrated, more models are coming, so you can use them right away with Smart5. Is it possible to know if the driver is wearing seat belt without connecting wires via CAN? You can use digital inputs for that. This device has 3 digital inputs and 1 combined digital or analog input. So you can use any of those to connect to seat belt sensor, not via canvas, but maybe via digital input. And Smart5 can utilize tachograph, OBD, EBS. It can utilize OBD. It can utilize CAN bus, like as a CAN bus parameters, like mileage, fuel consumption, fuel level, RPM, and so on. But no tachograph. And technically, EBS data is there because in trailer's CAN bus, when it's inbuilt, there are some lateral acceleration values that are given away by the trailer in the CAN bus line. So it can be read with Smart5, but not from systems like Vapco or Norbremse. For CAN bus data, can we retrieve all data, including engine temperature and engine oil temperature as custom CAN? Yes, you can extract any parameter with custom CAN. You can either override existing parameters, either to create totally new parameters from data that is essential for the project, but maybe not essential for the rest of the world. So custom CAN, any CAN bus parameter. For CAN, is there any specific program number for each model? Maybe you are referring to other manufacturers' approach towards numbers of CAN bus programs. So we simply are defining them by make and model. When it comes to OBD, it's auto-detect mechanism that is making quite automated auto-detect to define what kind of vehicle is that. And when it comes to canvas reading, we have a selection of make, model, year. Then it selects the appropriate program for that car. Or you can use, again, auto-select. But there is no like specified numbers. We tend to operate on manufacturer make, model, year, engine, and so on. For some reason, will Ruptela share their existing set of CAN message IDs upon request for use in custom CAN? So once that we know, we already put into Canvas reading programs and we assign them to make model, model year and engine. Once that we don't know or we haven't touched, that's why we gave this platform for you to work on directly. So it's not that we have some IDs that we are hiding for you to be used in custom CAN. Simply, if we have these IDs, we assign them into existing Canvas programs so they could be used in auto-detect mechanisms and so on. So it would be convenient for you to use for most of the cases. And for projects where some custom things are needed or things that haven't been touched by us so far, feel free to use custom CAN IDs that you reverted with your teams locally, or you maybe got from manufacturers or dealers. Okay. Eddie is thanking for the presentation. Thank you for listening, Eddie. And we don't have much questions, but we still have a little bit of time. So feel free to drop your questions. Again, you can anytime drop an email to sales manager and he will assist you together with sales engineer and answer all your technical and commercial questions. And for sure, we will send a recording of this presentation to everyone who has been participating. I hope we've been quite efficient, 36 minutes. We saved some time, so have a nice remaining of the day. And next webinar in Spanish will be held February 11th by our Mexican team. So if you have partners that maybe don't speak English but would like to hear it in Spanish, check our news and register for the following webinar in Spanish, January 11th. For now, thank you very much. See you around. Take care.